MSDN use rights in SPLA. When it comes to MSDN use rights in SPLA, it's not really difficult to understand, but so many people, so many companies make mistakes. It pains me watching it. There are no MSDN rights in SPLA. Simple as that. How do I know that? Let me show you. And let me find Visual Studio. And what I'm looking for is license mobility rights through SA, because you're only allowed on a hosted server. So you rent a server, you rent a virtual machine from a SPLA provider, which is in a shared infrastructure, and there are other customer virtual machines in that data center. And the hardware is not yours, it doesn't belong to you. The way you take your on-premises licenses and deploy them, those licenses, assign them to your rented machines, the only allowed way to do that is through the right that is called license mobility through software assurance. There's no automatic right to take your volume license and drop it on a rented virtual machine if you're an end user. And if you're a provider, you also need to understand this, that if your end users bring Visual Studio to your data centers, you have to start reporting it, because there is no license mobility through software assurance for Visual Studio. If you're an end customer and you deploy your development and testing workloads into virtual machines, you have to be aware there's no discount. For you, it'll be exactly the same as if you would pay for production through SPLA. The provider has to charge you as if it was production, and if you deploy Visual Studio on those virtual machines, you have to pay for Visual Studio through SPLA. Even if you are subscribed to Visual Studio normally on premises, your developers are all Visual Studio subscribers, you still have to pay for it through SPLA if you host it in a third-party data center. Be careful with that. And if you're a provider, what it happens most often is if you have complex relationships with your end customers, if you provide other services to them, and then at some point, maybe as a part of your services, you host some of their infrastructure on your platform, you provide additional capacity to your customers. And when you manage a complex infrastructure for your customers, it's easy to overlook that what they can do on premises, they can have dev test environments that are licensed through MSDN. What I see is it's very easy to overlook that, and it's very easy to treat them, the SPLA environment, the environment in your data center, as if it was their on-premises environment. And then what we end up with is an auditor asking questions about what are these machines, and you as a provider answering to them, it's just dev test. You assume it's discounted, but it's not. There are no MSDN allowances in a SPLA environment. Your dev test is chargeable as if it was production.